Hello, Freethinkers, and welcome back to Wisecrack Live. Happy belated Halloween and Feliz Dia de los Muertos. It is the 1st of November. Hope you're all doing great. Michael will be with us in just a moment.
What's up, free thinkers, unfree thinkers, partially free thinkers, thinkers restrained by the influence of ideological structures thrust upon them at birth, thinkers who are thinking thoughts but incapable of thinking about the thoughts that they're thinking because they haven't thought about their status as a thinking being, and those thinkers who read things online and parrot them because that's what they feel like they're supposed to do and that's what the algorithm has trained them to do. Welcome to Wisecrack Live. It's November 1st. 2 months left in 2023. Just one of the best years on record. Every year gets better and better, guys. That's the one thing that I know for sure. Hi to everyone who's here. Amelia Scout finally catching it for the first time. We appreciate it. Julia, Canadian correspondent here, who is hungover and wants to know about other people's hangovers. You know, lick the stream, all that sort of stuff. I'm Michael Burns. I'm here with producer Henry, broadcasting live from beautiful kind of Culver City, California. It looks nice outside today. Nice to see you all. It's a weird one for me because I was telling Henry this before. There's like a fancy there's some corporate activities happening in the office today. So people are going to be like walking by that I'll be able to see. People that have the power to hire, fire, kill, retire, all those sorts of things. So glad to be here. Max Fortuno is finally joining live as well. Fades 6329 second live. There you go. Damon, oh no, these streams are on their lunch break. How can you steal time back? I don't know. Michael, we don't have snow on the ground, but glad you have it where you have it. Eddie Villanueva, artist extraordinaire, watching on company time. We like it. Caden also catching us now. Hey, Aaron, yes, here, ready to go. So lots to talk about today. And are we going to be current? No, we're going to talk about a thing that was sweeping the internet a week or more ago, but that's the pace we move at because we take our time to think about stuff. Minister Love from London. We love London. Eddie's a workplace atheist. Michael Dodge made a workplace atheist shirt design that we still need to make. So there you go. Bees here. COVID is kicking their ass. We will keep you company. Stay hydrated. Stay rested. There you go. And Brandon, thank you for your comments. Matthew points out a 1-to-4 ratio between likes and views. I don't know. Let's see. Reaper has a really intense question. And Reaper, all I would say for that is you gotta make it specific. Talk to your parents about the value of human life and what the limits of that value is, if that makes sense. But there you go. Cheyenne, that makes sense. Daddy Market Talk. So like the stream if you're here. If you are here right now and you don't mind, like the stream so the algorithm likes us. We just want to be liked by the algorithm. A few other starting points before we get going, as always. You know this, I know this, God knows this. We have a Patreon page. You can join it if you want. Now, someone on our Discord server, which is the thing you get on if you're either a Patreon or a patron. You're not a Patreon, you're a patron, or a member via our YouTube page, is you get on our Discord server. It's pretty fun. Some new faces there recently, so that's great. We love that. But something someone brought up was like, hey, what the fuck is up with these patron special streams that don't happen? And you're right, they stopped happening a while back. I want to get those started again soon. I'll talk to Henry about it later. We'll figure it out. But sign up and pressure me to make it happen. My current goal, hey guys, I'm just waving at my boss. Who has the power to ruin my life. He just walked by right there. His name's Rourke. He's a very nice guy, but if he wanted my child to starve and be unable to go to the hospital, he could do that with the swipe of a pen or the click of a mouse. But if we get enough people who are on the patron, who are patrons and who are bugging me, we'll do some patron only streams. As always, and you guys know this, we're a small team. The Wisecrack team is 4 full-time people plus a trusty cadre of freelancers, and we can only do so much. So we want to make that happen. This is my third week back from parental leave, so still getting my sea legs under me and all that sort of stuff. So, but there you go. Someone said, do you think he thought the same thing as he walked by? No, I think what he thought is like, oh, Burns is in there streaming. I bet he's saying something problematic right now or something like that. What's up, Nihilist Zealot? And Mellow Jello, I agree. We should lick the screen. Dr. Clownicus. Yes. Jeremy says, does Rourke have the power to get you a new computer? I was lying in bed last night. We got ready for X-rated bedtime tales. But I was lying in bed last night thinking about how I need to ask them for a new computer. Largely for this stream, you guys can't see it. You can kind of see it. There's this laptop right here, and it's actively humming as if it's about to explode as we do this. And it's mine too. The company didn't get this for me. It's just my computer that I bought with my hard-earned money from my job. So real quick, before we really get cooking, we'll get a couple comments. We'll get into it. We're going to talk about work. We're going to talk about 9-to-5 jobs. We'll quote some Dolly Parton. But let's check out some comments. So the first one, Henry pulled these. Is this just from last week's stream? Awesome. So this is from Mr. Sloan. It says, work. Hey, we're talking about work today. Who would have thought? Dude Abides is here. Speaking of work till 3 a.m. Good Lord, Dude Abides. Good Lord. Hope you're doing okay. Work keeps getting in the way of me joining a live stream. Time to find a new job, I think. That's what I think the number one thing you should look for in a job is the freedom to join Wisecrack Live. Nick Schaefer said, death is not a bug. It's a feature. Yeah, this is from one of our streams. I'm not going to move the mic. Well, here, I'm going to move the mic near the laptop for a second. Let's see if you hear the sound. Okay, there you go. That was the buzz. That was the buzz right there. Someone says, you need a new laptop fan or to clean the fan with a vacuum canned air. That's probably full of dust. But death is not a bug. It's a feature. A comment that was made on a stream where we're talking about tech bros who are obsessed with not dying. And the fact that, not to get too existential along the way, read Ernest Becker's The Denial of Death. But it's true. So much of human culture and society is formed around a denial of our finitude, and accepting the necessity of that finitude really opens us up to a lot of things. So, I would say accept death. So happy Wednesday. Accept your finitude.
It is that time.
This one says, oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying it is the season.
Mm-hmm. As a season, we'll do a Halloween check-in in a second. This person said he's spitting facts, but he high as fuck. I can confirm something to you all. I have never been, well, with one exception, which you all I'm sure know about.
The explicit.
I've never been. Yeah, I've never been high on a stream except for, and you guys can go back and watch this, the 420 stream last year, in which hypothetically cannabis and psilocybin entered my system during that, and I had the weirdest workday ever after the fact. So shout outs to that. Maybe this 420, I will I'll just like schedule the day around it, and maybe we could do some sort of all day on and off stream so I can, you know, so I can go for it a little bit without having to worry about having to go to a meeting after the fact, you know? The only issue though is now we're streaming from the office, so I guess I'd have to stream early and hang out here while I sobered up or something. I don't know, but we'll figure it out. But yeah, I'm not high. I'll tell you a story, guys. Thanks for being here. Wisecrack Live, like the stream. When I was in high school, um, where was this? When I was in high school, people thought I was a stoner, but I wasn't. I was really nerdy and kind of Christiany and didn't do drugs or drink or have sex or anything like that. But it was because I had long hair. Yeah, the dome hasn't always been raw, kids, and a little like goatee. And I wore thrift shop clothes, and I didn't like to sleep because where I went to high school. I'm curious about this. Let me know in the chat what time your first class was in high school, because at my high school it was 7:15. So I was just tired all the time, but everyone thought it meant that I was stoned all the time. But I was just super tired. I was just super tired. So, Henry, what time did your high school start?
I do not remember.
Yeah, I mean it's been a while. I remember only because of the of speaking of misused therapy language. Wisecrack has a great video on that. The trauma from getting up that early. I got called into the office a month before high school graduation and was told that if I was tardy to first period one more time, I wouldn't get to graduate because I was late so much. Okay, we got 7:20, 7:15, 7:20, 7:40, 7:45. Okay, so a lot of you dealt with this as well. A thing, and I'm curious what the parents think about. I know we got some other parents here. Um, so Merc with a mouth. Yes, Shaggy from Scooby Doo is what they called me. Guys, I'm going to tell another story. This one's going to blow some minds. I briefly, when I was in high school, participated in freestyle battle raps where I would go to venues and would do like battle rapping. I really played into my whiteness in it, use it as a gimmick. But I remember the first time I lost, this guy who's really jacked guy said something like he ended a rhyme with this motherfucker looking like Shaggy from Scooby Doo, and everyone was like, "Oh," and it ruined me. It ruined me. I was unable to respond with wit or anything surprising, and I lost, and it was one of the saddest days of my life, guys. And you know, I could have maybe stayed a successful battle rapper in the Orlando, Florida area, but that one kind of ruined. The guy's name was Matt something, and I just hated him my whole life since that moment. And sometimes I'll have dreams. This is real. I'm just being honest with you guys right now. I'll have dreams about what I should have said when I was in that battle rap situation. So there you go. Um, so there you go. Some stories with you. Some stories for you right there. But um the last comment, what would the one that says the real war happens in PR? What's that one from?
It is from last week's stream when you were talking about misinformation regarding world
Yeah.
conflicts right now.
Yeah. Um so I mean like I do think that's yeah. I think it's a really good comment, and I do think it's that. So there's this line I love. We're gonna but we're gonna bounce around a bit today, but um, in Soren Kierkegaard's Two Ages. Now, if you've ever thought to yourself, "Oh, Burns regularly talks about this dead Danish guy Soren Kierkegaard," I'll read a little something. You should cop this book, Two Ages, and he has this line about how in his era, everyone stops thinking and everything turns into advertising and publicity. That there's no real sense of passion, of curiosity, of a commitment to truth and ideas, that he's already worried in like 1844, 1846 in Copenhagen that everything's just turning into one culture of advertising and publicity, that there's kind of no there, right? That all there is this sort of thing. And it always shocks me when I read that text that this dude is saying that, in the middle of the 19th century. But I definitely think this comment from Shake and Bacon here points out that now we're at a place where even global conflict is largely taking place or is being like presented and explored via mechanisms of advertising and publicity and memification and all this sort of stuff. And it's
It brings to
very
mind
sad.
the essay. I think Baudrillard has an essay that's just called "The Gulf War Did Not Happen," about the way that was a war made for cable TV.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, Someone brought up Benjamin's arcade project. Yeah, I think that would make a lot of sense here. Um, I kind of missed some of the context of the chat, but Alex says this chronic prolonged embarrassment and ADHD thing, because I relate heavily. No, it actually is. There's a lot of shame and embarrassment stuff attached to ADHD. So that's the thing. Some of my favorite ADHD influencers talk about it. One of my favorite ADHD influencers on Instagram did a thing recently about how she went to Peru to do ayahuasca to try to cure her ADHD. And I was just like, honey, you're going to have to take the kid for a long weekend. I got to go cure my ADHD with some ayahuasca in Peru. Jungle Gaming asks, is the other guy talking under the desk? Yes, Henry is down here. He has a whole electronic setup. Under this desk is Austin, Texas. Time and space are foldable when you are in the Wisecrack live zone. So there you go. Let's see. Eddie, ADHD is hard. And this isn't an ADHD stream, but it's like I feel conflicted because we're in this time where there's so much like fake ADHD nonsense on the internet and where people do a lot of stolen valor with like, oh, I'm so ADHD. It's like, get a diagnosis, dog. But I get that it's hard to get a diagnosis sometimes. But I think it's like hard. I think it's harder than people want to acknowledge sometimes. And if you complain about it, they're just like, eh. May brought up the documentary Wag the Dog. Yeah. So there you go. Julia has a hard time with her ADHD trying to be professional. Yeah, whenever I have to be professional, I act. Julia, I think about what would a professional person act like in this situation, and I just like do that. It's what I used to do when I used to date early on. The first few dates, I would just act like how I thought you were supposed to act on a date. And then like date 4, it's like, "Oh, you're getting this." There wasn't a lot of date 5s, guys. There wasn't a lot of date 5s. There was one date 5, and then I just kept her around forever, and now we're going on 11 years. So there you go. Mellow Jello, I'm glad this is your ADHD community. Um, let's see. Shane Morrison says this isn't an ADHD stream. We it's been a couple weeks since we've got a comment where someone says this stream needs to be more focused. I can't keep up. It's crazy. It's like being in the brain of a chaotic person. It's like, there you go. There you go. Okay. But we're here. We're strong. We're powerful. We're going to keep streaming. So we have a topic we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about work-related stuff. Before we get into it, again, like the stream if you haven't already. We appreciate it if you're here. And I do think even some of the ADHD stuff that's coming up will relate to this job thing, because I do think that whether it's ADHD, whether it's anxiety or depression, a lot of things that are on the rise these days, I think that a lot of those make work really hard. And I think that a lot of individuals, and I'm sure some of you have experiences like this, feel free to share them in the chat. I mean, I'm asking you to be vulnerable, so, don't feel like you have to do that. But you can feel this contradiction, right, between how you might feel internally, whether that's because of ADHD or various, other mental illnesses, and you're operating on one level, but then the world and maybe your job or your professional life wants you to operate on a whole other level, and you just exist in this contradiction where the feedback you're getting from like the professional work world is that you're not good enough and you're doing a bad job, but everything's really hard, and that just creates a really toxic system. And of course we don't have Russell Barkley rips if anyone's looking for ADHD stuff, but you know um and that can almost like create a feedback loop where, let's say you're someone who's struggles with anxiety, and your anxiety disorder makes it hard to work efficiently or effectively. and then your work doesn't go really well, that feeds back into your anxiety that maybe you're not good enough or you can't handle this, which makes it even harder to work. And it just creates this vicious cycle, right? And that's tough. And that's tough. So, but I think we can loop back into some of this, but I'm going to load this video. We won't hit play.
I know I'm probably just being so
yet.
dramatic and annoying, but this is my first job. Like my
pause it when it loads. There you go. Paused. But yeah, I see some comments to this regard as well. I mean, hey guys, I'll be honest with you. I've been struggling a ton the past couple weeks because I've been on parental leave for 3 months. And parental leave is great for ADHD because for 3 months, it was just like bouncing around. All I had to worry about was the kid. If she was okay and if me and my wife had dinner to eat at night, everything was fine. And there was no schedule, there was no strict sense of things because it was all chaos. And I actually kind of felt like being very ADHD made that easy because I was fine with the chaos. I was doing pretty well in the chaos. Even my wife was like, you've been doing well. I'm kind of shocked by this. But transitioning back to work, it's been real hard. It's both hard to get back on a consistent schedule. I've been getting back, taking my meds more regularly, which I've had to get used to again. That's been tough. Being motivated is tough because, and I'm sure some of the other parents in here might know about this more than me. Jason T. Ray got diagnosed with ADHD at 50. You know what though? I think that's like, at least you got it and you know that now, Jason. And I'm so sorry that the stress led to open heart surgery, but I really hope you're doing okay, Jason. But I think like better late than never. I didn't get diagnosed until I was like 36 or something. So, better late than never, 37 maybe. How old am I? Fuck. But with the kid around too, it's even harder because it's hard sometimes to care about work stuff because she'll just be on the ground in her little play place making noises and like doing that. And I'm on the laptop, like, gotta make content, gotta pitch ideas to a brand. And it's like, who cares, man? There's new human life over there. I want to pay attention to her. But all I have to say is work's tough. I'm struggling right now. So you're not alone. So let's well, Crazy Tom's in the park and the cops are digging up body-sized holes. Wow. Okay, so we're gonna watch this video. I'm so sorry, I forget the name of this TikToker, but there was an outcry on the internet a week or two ago when a woman kind of just starting her professional life after college expressed that working a 9-to-5 job kind of sucks. And initially I saw a lot of folks on Twitter or people responding on TikTok were hating on this young woman and kind of calling her a baby, calling her spoiled, all this sort of stuff. And then I think there was a turn in which people responded differently. But let's watch the video and we'll talk about it, okay? Here we go.
I know I'm probably just being so dramatic and annoying.
Hold on.
But
I gotta change some settings so I can hear it okay. Because I can't hear it from my computer.
I am getting some slight video flickering from you as well.
Okay. Well, hopefully it stops.
But this is my first job, like my first 9-to-5 job after college, and I'm in person, and I'm commuting in the city, and it takes me fucking forever to get there. There's no way I'm gonna be able to afford living in the city right now, so that's off the table. Like, fucking duh! If I was able to walk to work, and it'd be fine, but I'm not. So it literally takes me, like, I leave here, like, I get on the train at 7:30, and I don't get home till, like, 6:15 earliest, and then...
So let's just start with this. Early on in this, someone talking about how even getting to work takes time. And especially for if you live in a bigger city, I assume whenever someone says the city, I just assume that means Manhattan. But yeah, someone says your video is being flickery. I'm really sorry. Am I coming through okay? Like, can we hear me okay?
It's stabilized more since I made comment, but I haven't seen it happen again.
Okay, cool. And I see some stuff in the chat. I want to talk about the backlash to this. We're going to break down the psychology of it. But right off the bat, for a lot of younger people, you might want to move to a bigger city and get a job, but then like, how do you fucking afford to live there? Like if I right now were moving to LA on my salary, I would have to move so far out if I was going to get a 1-bedroom that I could reasonably afford. I think for a lot of people in bigger cities and even like not huge, because even places like I know Austin where Henry lives, Rents are insane. Even cities like Orlando, rents are insane. They're going up all over the country. Seattle's really expensive. I'm sure tons of places are really expensive. So it's like you get a job and the job is 8 hours, but then sometimes getting to and from the job is 3 hours total. So then we're talking about 11 hours. We're basically talking about half of a day that you're just doing work stuff. Maeve Callahan is correct that my computer does have ADHD. Okay, let's keep watching the video. Hey, and I just want to say, Jason Ray T, love you, man. I'm really sorry you're dealing with that. I very much relate. I'm sure a lot of us do. I know it doesn't make it better, but I know a lot of us are fighting that same fight, and we love you.
Then like I don't have time to do anything. I want to shower, eat my dinner, and go to sleep. I don't have time or energy to cook my dinner either. Like I don't have energy to work out. Like that's out the window. Like I'm so upset. Oh my God. Nothing to do with my job at all, but just like the 9 to 5 schedule in general is crazy. Being in the office 9 to 5, like if it was remote, you get off at 5 and you're home and everything's fine. But like I'm not home. It takes me long to get home, and like people that drive to the office, like you don't get off at 5. And I know it could be worse. I know I could be working longer, but like I literally get off, it's pitch black. Like I don't have energy. How do you have friends? Like how do you have time to like meet
so sad.
like a guy? I don't know. Like how do you have time for like dating? Like I don't have time for anything, and I'm like so stressed out. And I'm also getting my period, so that's why I'm all emotional. But like, am I so dramatic? It's fine.
Okay, so this video comes out, and I think the first set of reactions, yeah, Black is Cole says Pasadena is wild. Yeah, my wife and I were looking at Pasadena places recently, and we're like, wow. But a lot of the initial reaction to this was, and I'll say that I get this because there's a part of my brain that can access this type of energy. There was a lot of, oh, boo-hoo, little white girl doesn't like her job. Oh, it's so hard. The rest of us have to deal with it. Sack up, be tough. Gen Zers don't have the hustle anymore. Kids are so entitled, yada, yada, yada. Tons of that on the internet. Tons of that on the internet. So then I want to start with this. I wonder what we think. What is this? What is the psychology of the individual who sees something like that and is like, oh, you coward, you entitled Gen Z piece of shit. Oh my God, cry me a river. Like that energy, where does that come from? Because there's where my mind goes, and I'm curious what Henry thinks. I'm curious what everyone in the chat thinks. Also like the stream. But part of me thinks there's this like Stockholm syndrome prison mentality. It actually, it reminds me of the same energy of people who are like mad when they hear that like student loan debt might get eliminated for some people. And they're like, no, I had to pay my debt. You should have to pay yours. Well, it's like, why? It's this attitude of my life sucks shit, so your life should have to suck shit too. I was ruined by debt, so you should have to be ruined by debt. Working took my 20s from me, so they should take your 20s from you. And then part of me thinks the way people do that is to cope, because the flip side, part of me thinks, would be to recognize that I too have lived in a system that robbed me of elements of my humanity, and I miss that, and I'm sad and I'm mad about that, because it also involves a prioritization of one's individual humanity. Because when people are hating on this woman, what they're doing is they're saying like, I don't give a fuck that you don't have time to exercise. I don't give a shit that you can't cook your own dinner. Fuck you if you can't date or hang out with friends or whatever, because that stuff doesn't matter. That stuff's not important. And then I think it's that question of, well, why is that not? Why is, commuting into a job? And I'm not trying to be mean. I mean, everyone should guess in the chat. I would guess this person works marketing, PR, maybe something like that. I don't know, for a tech company. But, the fact that we treat the stuff that we do as our jobs, the stuff that we do for our jobs as like important in this, real existential way, that's important. But then keeping ourselves healthy, avoiding stress, cooking our own meals with healthy food, friendship, love, sex, art, all that stuff is superfluous. It's kind of the vibe that we're getting at. Right now, I'm seeing that there's 420 people here. That's great. Dead Card, thank you so much. Says those people are also convinced forgiving the debt takes their money and not just the profits of the lender. For sure, for sure. And Jason says, as a Gen Xer, I wish my generation understood that we as a society have a horrible work-life balance. Absolutely. Henry, what are your thoughts on this? I've been talking for a while.
It speaks to me of a mentality to view America as a board game where you have to win, and
Mm-hmm.
it's that becoming a political mindscape for people where they don't see beyond the borders of the game. Like, they don't see beyond the borders
Yeah.
of America. They don't see beyond the borders of like the rules of themselves. And it's just a mentality that to me like intentionally like commits people to like not seeing the other in themselves and like not making social bonds, remaining. It's about like keeping the political landscape the board game. Like, they just want to keep running
Yeah.
the board game because winning the board game makes them feel cool. And it's like, it's a board, like, so many people made the metaphor like board game on a sinking ship. Like, who's caring for
Mm.
the rules to Monopoly when like everything's going down on fire? But yeah,
Well, do you think it's the case as well that people feel like the longer you've spent your life committed to the board game, the harder it is to look back and acknowledge it's all just been a board game?
yeah,
If that makes sense?
because then you feel like a fraud or like you built yourself on a lie or
Yeah.
some such
Well,
irreconcilable like thing.
yeah. It's like a sunk cost thing, right? At that point, it's sort of like I've
Yeah,
committed my life to looking at things in a certain way, to acknowledge that that's maybe been bullshit now is realizing that I've potentially wasted, decades playing that game. Which is tough. Hey, like the stream if you hate your job. So I want to look. There's a Yahoo Finance article on this. I mean, also the interesting thing is if you go online and look up the way different outlets and folks covered this, it's crazy. Well, yeah, we'll get to this Yahoo article if we want to get that pulled up in a sec. But I will say, so we had this. And what's up to everyone? Just awesome. What's up to everyone just tuning in now? What's up, Natasha? What's up, Philip? Good to see you all here. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah, here you go. So we were saying before the initial reaction to this was a lot of people being really, his name is Brielle. Then there was a lot of people who were just like, actually, this is like based and good. This is good that someone acknowledges that she feels dehumanized by having to work. What's up, JJ Carter? Dehumanized or whatever. Beatmaster, you've noticed their work today. Well, I want to see too. Michael Dodge says, I think part of it is I'm bitter that I've been forced to play a game that I don't want to play because I want simple things like a cozy
yeah.
house and not being a debt slave. Yeah. Sean Grafton says, growing into the workforce is hard. From birth to graduation, you're encouraged towards self-exploration, growth, and all the superfluous things, not to mesh with being an adult. Yeah. But yeah, so there was like a second wave of responses to the video. Oh, go ahead, Henry.
I was just gonna say, Philip Garber pointed out Henry and most Americans should play more co-op board games, and I strongly agree with that. There's something to that. Like, I'm a huge fan of Dark Souls, which people say is notoriously hard, but if you just use the co-op features, that's the easy mode, and you make friends.
Yeah. That's a very good idea. Everyone do that and let us know how it goes. But yeah, so I do. Yeah, Kate Emmons related to that girl. But there was a good second wave of responses to this again, where people were like, no, this is right. This is good. There's something relatable about this energy. And I do think that there's a sadness to this too, because it's not like there's a way out. There's a lot of problems that we have in life, whether they are physical problems, mental problems, practical problems, relationship problems, that have some sort of fix. Even if it's a really hard fix, they have some sort of fix. But issues like someone who is 22, 23 years old, feeling like I went to school, I went to college, I did all the things, now I'm working, and I feel miserable, and I feel like I'm not getting to live life. I feel like I'm not doing the things that I want to do with my finite time. Again, finite time on this planet. Well, what's your alternative? Like what else are you going to do? And I think that's the hard thing, like, come into inherited wealth. And I think that is the hard thing. And, I have so many conversations with friends about this sort of thing. And, there's not any real obvious solution. Some people might just be like, oh, I'm going to try to work in tech and make as much money as I can and cash out and live someplace cheap. Hey, good work if you can get it. But nobody says weed and philosophy is my fix. 666. Yeah, there you go. Let's see. And Brian Crowers points out that being mostly a service economy also has an impact on current and future gens feeling like frauds. A job where you made something versus one where you make art to get someone to buy 2% more. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Um, Beatmaster says that's how you end up with an early midlife crisis. Yeah. I mean, and I think it's a thing too where like it's there's so much shame around being, for example, I'll say a thing right now. I'm gonna say a thing that I know by saying this, maybe some of you and people in general, or like especially folks Gen X or baby boomers might hate this idea. But, if I were just to say like, I don't like work, I think it sucks and I don't want to do it. Even the best job I've ever had is still a job and I'd rather not. And sometimes people are like, I don't know what I would do if I didn't work. I'm like, I do. I know exactly what I do if I didn't work. There's so many activities I would love to do. I could sketch you out days. There's all these things I would work on. And this is also why sometimes people, and get ready, guys, like the stream now, because what I'm about to say is going to make you want to unlike it because I'm about to become a communist super soldier. But, you know, something that Marx talks about, trying to remember exactly where he says this, but Marx's vision for, communism, socialism, whatever you want to call it, isn't big state, radical, political, military, Stalin, whatever. It's that someone would have time to go fishing, to take a walk, to be with their children, to write poetry, that work isn't the thing that would primarily dominate your time on this earth. That the exchange of your labor for a little bit of capital for a company that's making a lot more money than you are off, that shouldn't be what life is primarily about. It can be a part of it, but it should be something that facilitates the other stuff, the fishing, the painting, the poetry, all that sort of stuff. So, you know, um, yeah, like Eddie says, my retired dad just takes walks and sits in his garden, talks to plants, and it's everything I wish I could be doing for sure. And here's the thing too,
Nice.
for a certain generation, people got to retire. I don't know about you guys. Like I don't know what it will look like to retire. And I'll say something even more. I'm going to say something dark right now. I'm going to say some sick shit. So if your little pretty little soul can't handle some darkness, cover your little baby ears and go put some Johnson's baby wipes on your little baby bum, you little coward. Because here's the real thing. My long-term retirement plan is death. And by that I mean people dying. I'm only like when I talk to my wife about this, it's like our long-term plan is that like our parents die and still have some money that they can give us. And that's pretty dark. That's like dark for me to think that's basically the plan. That my mom doesn't go broke before she dies. And when she dies, she has some money that she gives my sister and I. And then I can use that money to live off of. Like that's truly the plan. Because I don't have a big retirement account. I got a little baby 401k. And I always try to put more money in the 401k, but then I go back online, I put less money in it because I need that money to live my life. So I can't afford to invest that much. So it's just like just waiting for someone to die. But then I think about my daughter, right? I don't know what the fuck she's gonna do. Because my wife and I aren't gonna have like our parents' baby boomer money. So, there you go. There you go. Let's look at this article on Yahoo Finance to talk. I think it's interesting to get, the normie take on this stuff. Let me know your retirement plans. Reclaim Dasein says, my retirement plan is communist revolution. Merc with a mouth says, how many potential artists and business creators are too afraid to do what they're passionate about because they have to work to live? Yeah. Well, think about this too. This is why more and more guys, all the art we get is just art made by rich kids. And like, I'm not one of those people that wants to be a dick and say that you're like bad because if your parents had money. Quite the opposite. I just wish everyone had the freedom of rich kids. You know, like I think good
Yeah.
for them. If like genuinely, I'm really excited to see the movie Priscilla. Right, very excited. Sofia Coppola is an amazing filmmaker. Good for her that I imagine Sofia Coppola growing up had the freedom to explore her creative talent and was encouraged in that creativity by her parents and was given resources to do that. That's not bad. Good for her. You know what I mean? Like, I wish everyone, oh, wow, the liberal smoker just gifted some memberships. Thank you so much, Lord of the Chat. Like, why not? You know, why not want everyone to live like that? And maybe Sofia Coppola is a good example because she seems like a person and like makes good art and stuff. But the way we're going in society, more and more, it's only going to be the Sofia Coppolas of the world that have time to make art. But I'm excited to see Priscilla, guys. Very excited. Okay. Let's read this article. So it says Gen Z have officially entered the working world and they aren't too excited about it. That's why I love Gen Z. This is why I consider myself an honorary member. And like you all know, in the revolution fight on your side. Beatmaster said, nepotism, not that bad. I mean, here's the thing, Beatmaster. It's differentiating the structures from the individual in that structure. The structure of nepotism is bad. But I don't want to take out the structural inequality on the individuals in that. You know what I mean? I think that's the thing that we all learn as we get older, the importance of thinking about structural systems. Because when we don't think structurally, we think really, I mean, let's just say this. I'm not going to get too into it. But one of the mistakes happening right now and how certain individuals are understanding and internalizing global events is they are failing to see the structural elements that lead to and perpetuate events. And instead, they want to point fingers at like groups of people or certain people in a way that very much bleeds right into like xenophobia and racism, right? Because of an inability, and this happens, I'll say it, happens on all sides, because of an inability to look at structural conditions and how structural conditions have effects, how material and structural conditions have effects. So I would just say that, across the board, that happens. Matthew said, wait, where is this? Not Matthew. Someone brought up the Game Clown says, but there's also rich people like Don Jr. Good ones, good kids like Don Jr. If only every Nepo baby could be a Don Jr., just a coked up urban cowboy slicking his hair back as he floats through the world without consequences.
His
God, I love
father
that guy.
definitely loves him.
Guys, it's November 1st, 2023. I'm just calling it now. In a year and 1 week, if I still exist, I'll be on the stream talking to you about how insane it is that Trump is the president again. I think that's going to happen. I do. I think we'll go back. We'll remember this clip. It's November 1st. We are 1 year and a few days away from the 2024 American presidential election. I'm going to come in here maybe with a bottle of wine open at 10 a.m. Pacific time, and we'll talk about how insane it is that Donald Trump is the president again. I really believe that. I'm not, this isn't a bit. I'm not trying to be hyperbolic. I think it's going to happen. Like the stream.
Yeah.
So go ahead, Henry. I don't get to the article.
It's not so much if Trump's going to get elected again. It's more like I'm wondering what the reaction is going to be. Is there going to be a liberal January 6th?
What would that be? Like a bunch of people with small acoustic guitars singing Jewel outside the White House, singing Jewel's "Who Will Save Your Soul"? Maybe. I don't know. Siege Bug says, Michael, what don't you like about season 7 of Rick and Morty? I will be honest. I've watched the first 2 episodes. I started watching the third one yesterday, then I stopped halfway through. Not because I didn't like it. Thus far, I think I like the third episode the best. I just felt like in the first 2 episodes, hey, what's up, Drift King 305? I just felt like nothing was happening. I felt like the character stakes didn't matter. They weren't exploring ideas, and it wasn't that funny. Basically, I felt like all the things that may make Rick and Morty at times an exceptional show, I didn't feel like any of those things. Natasha, you're not the only one. Okay, so this article, it says new grad Brielle posted a viral TikTok last week that has divided the internet. She explained through tears that her first 9 to 5 role leaves her no time to do anything but eat, sleep, and shower. Like, that sucks. Brielle has to leave the house at 7:30 to commute into New York for her office. Oh yeah, marketing job. Doesn't arrive back till 6:15. You know, I'm so upset. She says, how do you have time for friends? How do you have time to meet a guy? Her video blew up online, drawing some sharp responses initially, but then many were sympathetic. In a follow-up, we didn't watch the follow-up, guys, and I don't think we're going to, unless there's like, what's this link? Is this link to TikTok? Yeah. In a follow-up, she explains. Oh, we do. Do we have it on like a YouTube link or just on?
I just have the TikTok video. I could play it. I don't think you're gonna get audio on your end.
Yeah. Do you want to? How long is it?
It's 59 seconds.
Do you want to send it to me and then I'll watch it on my end at the same time? Okay. Sorry, guys. We're just, we're just getting this going so we can both watch it.
Piloting our Jaeger.
Yeah. So that way at least I can know what's happening. Okay. It's about to start. Let's see. I'm pausing. Wait, it won't play for me. How do you do it? I click this? Guys, I feel like such a fucking boomer right now. Do I click this? Hold on. They're trying to make me log into TikTok. No, I don't want to log in. I keep losing my TikTok account. Okay, I'm watching it now and it won't stop for me, so I'm just gonna keep watching it. You can start it whenever.
Henry is playing the video and now.
I genuinely can't get over this. Worker cries after sorting her first sign to college, and it's literally be like, shh, keep your voice down. You're gonna get me fired. What the fuck, Jack? Like, really? This is not, you can't put this on the news. This is me talking to my friends on this account. Why are you blasting me like that? Worker cries. I'm not talking, disclaimer, not talking about my employer, not talking about my job. I'm very happy to be employed. Please, let's keep me employed. Thanks. But it's like when that guy, it's like in Greek mythology, and it's like he gets sentenced to hell and he has to push the same rock up the same hill every single day.
Well, like, is it done on your end?
Sleep, and then he does the same thing over and over again. Like, that's the whole system of a 9 to 5. Just pushing the same rock up a hill and actually getting nowhere and doing the same thing. But like, what's the end goal? You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah, the myth where the guy puts this is the thing. This person, I'm gonna make some assumptions about Brielle. Also, Brielle, I saw she had a funny other TikTok making fun of when a guy takes acid once and tells her how it made him experience empathy. I think that's very funny. This is clearly not like a politically radical person. I don't think Brielle is like, reading Chomsky or something on her way to work. And that's not to judge this person at all. It's because shit is so bad that people who are just simply describing their lived experience so immediately connect with like a Sisyphean idea here, right? Of, that guy from the myth. That working a little bit just immediately makes you feel like, oh yeah, that's what it feels like, doing the same shit over and over and getting nowhere. Like, yeah. And again, in no place and who knows, we watched 2 videos of Brielle. But like, it's funny because it's not like she's like, and according to, Antonio Gramsci, the way labor is constructed, it's just like, no, via lived experience. And this is why sometimes we very much we can overrate like the importance of books. Yeah, I said it. We can overrate the importance of books, like the stream, if you hate libraries.
Agree.
Because like, it didn't take Brielle, listening to Lefty podcast to be able to just analyze her own lived experience, become aware of the alienation she was feeling, and describe it in sort of a visceral way, Dr. Clownica says sorority philosophy is the new thug notes. Ah, but yeah,
It
nobody
does.
wants to chain up daddy market.
Yeah,
Keep
it
going.
does speak to like a misapplication, I think, of art, or a misdiagnosis of the purpose of art when you equate consumption to the kind of like instead what it should be is like a conversation starter or like a point of
Mhm.
beginning to share an idea, not so much like take this thing, there you got the idea, now you're good.
Yeah. Joshua Moore said, "Can we get a video on Camus' The Myth of Sisyphus?" Didn't we just do a Camus video? If it didn't come out yet, I'm losing my mind a bit here. Yeah, we have a Nietzsche video that's coming out that's on Nietzsche and atheism. We're having a hard time branding that one, so please watch that when it comes out. God damn it. We definitely talk about Camus in a recent video. I just can't remember what it is. Probably something coming out. But to go back to this Yahoo article, it says Brielle's not wrong. I like how Brielle's just Brielle, like Madonna. She's like Gen Z's TikTok Sisyphean Madonna. Hey guys, thanks for being here. Like the stream. I mean, we're in the fives. I would say 666 isn't likely, but let me tell you why you should like the stream and try to get people here. Because if I have to do 666 today, guys, there are multiple people I've never met before in my life who are in this office today for a lunch meet and greet with the CEO of this company. If we get to 666, I'm gonna have to and I will not I will never back down. I'll never not be who I am for you all. You are my lords, ladies, and saviors. If we get to 666, I'm gonna give you a I'm gonna praise the Dark Lord as loud as I can, and people are going to hear it. People in this office that have no idea what's happening are going to hear it. So there you go. This article goes on to say Brielle's not wrong. The 40-hour work was designed to be sustainable. It began in the Industrial Revolution to create schedules for assembly line workers. But in the late 1800s, 70 hours would have been common, says Benjamin Honeycutt. Great name. That was slowly whittled down until the 40-hour workweek became the norm during the Great Depression, until it was enshrined in law in the 1940s. So we've had the 40-hour workweek for almost 100 years, and we haven't thought like, hey, maybe we could trim it down a little bit more. Dead Card 13, gifted 5 memberships. Welcome to another Lord of the Chat. Dead Card 13. Someone said, no, what 12 people just left. You guys don't want me to. Maybe it's people in this office that we're watching, and they were like, guys, everyone get off. We don't want to listen to this shit. Sorry, it says economists and analysts expected the week would continue to shrink. John Maynard Keynes actually predicted that technological advances could see the work week shrink to just 15 hours by 2030. That's in 6 years. Do we think that by 2030, the work week will have shrunk to 15 hours? Probably not. But John Maynard Keynes was not a radical dude. He was just looking at the world around him and was even like, yeah, why, with all this technology, why would we work more? Why would we, John?
If it is that short, it's going to be some Terminator-esque techno hell where you're competing with robots for gig jobs.
Yeah. There's been a push for a 4-day work week, which advocates, and yeah, if anyone wants to see this, there's a group called Autonomy in the UK that does research, and I did an interview with the guys that run it on 4-day work week stuff. It's over on our Wisecast channel. And another follow-up video, Brielle explains that she wants to see a structural change to the 9-to-5 work schedule because it imposes inflexibility on workers that don't always make it up the chain of command. Quote, it's not fair that the only people benefiting are the people that either run the corporations and can make their own schedules, so they just pile on the work to people that are less fortunate. Yep. And while many would argue that those workers are fairly compensated for their time, growing wages simply haven't kept up with inflation. We've talked about this. We all know about this. What's up, Solid Jimmy? Thanks for hopping in. Thanks for hopping in just for a second to say hi. Like the stream if you're here. We love you guys. Hi, David. Yeah, 1980s minimum hourly wage was $3.10. Today it's $7.25. That may sound like a big jump, but inflation means that a dollar in the 1980s is worth $3.68 today's purchasing power. If minimum wage accurately reflected inflation and cost of living, it would now be $11.40. So again, guys, when we factor in inflation, wages are actively going down. your salaries are actively going down. If you're not getting yearly raises for inflation plus some, you are making less money relative to the economy every year. I have not had a raise in 2 years, so I know, especially with the inflation of the past couple of years, I am making less now than I did 2 years ago, but it's fine. It's not like I have a mouth to feed or anything like that. Not that I have to feed it now. That's the sheets from the the thing. Um, we've already seen trends responding to this, including Gen Z's penchant for what they call lazy girl jobs. I don't know what these are, and I'm gonna open a tab because I want to see what this is. We might read this article next, guy. If you're in the chat, let me know if you know about lazy. Have you heard about lazy girl jobs, Henry?
I have not.
All right, I'm gonna finish this Yahoo thing, but I opened a tab with the lazy girl jobs thing. Maybe we should learn about lazy girl jobs. Because I want one. Yeah, when their paychecks aren't covering both rent and groceries, it's hard not to understand why employees are resisting the system. Work-life balance. Considering work and her commute take up nearly 11 hours of her day, Brielle has a point when she says she has limited time and energy. She adds that it's even worse if you have kids or other dependents. But this lack of life is starting to see pushback from people like Brielle. A recent Resume Lab survey discovered, oh, thank you so much, Captain Flakes. Really appreciate it. I hope you have a good lazy girl job, Captain Flakes. A recent Resume Lab survey discovered that 73% of Gen Z will pick a job with better work-life balance over a higher salary.
Hell yeah.
Brielle's TikTok sums up the general feelings towards work culture right now. And it appears not just Gen Z feels this way, with many older workers agreeing with the comments. Can someone make I probably shouldn't say this, but I will. Can someone make a thing where you grab Brielle's face and put it, the famous picture of Chairman Mao or Stalin or you know what I mean? Just a picture of her with some old school, totalitarian communist imagery. I think that would be sick if someone wants to make that. That's all. That's all. Yeah, Bex here was recently a dishwasher and quit. They made you do tons of stuff. That's tough. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Clara Bison says 3 hours to live everything in your life you want. The Jungle Game says they have kids, they're probably not that lazy. Yeah, so I think, again, when you think about how much some of us work, again, if you're spending 12 hours commuting, working, all that sort of stuff, let's say you spend 8 hours sleeping, if you're lucky, that leaves you 4 hours, not just to do things you love. That's 4 hours to then do your grocery shop, go appointments, or clean up the house, or do your laundry, or shower, or take a big long stinky dump, or anything that you have to do. So then by the end of that, what do you have? An hour, but then you're exhausted with that hour. So instead, you just go on, you know, you go on Netflix and you watch an episode and a half of selling the OC to see if Tyler and Alex Hall are gonna kiss. It's crazy. Um, I just made those names up, but that happened to be people. Oh yeah, I'm gonna look at this article now. We're freestyling, guys. I'm not only a freestyle battle rapper, I'm a freestyle YouTube streamer because I love the idea of lazy girl jobs. And this is maybe my new, I haven't even read the article yet, and this is maybe my new favorite thing I've ever heard about is lazy girl jobs. I love Gen Z so much. I love Gen Z so much, guys. My whole, I'm old millennial, and no, everyone just wanted to work. Everyone just wanted to work so much. It's so boring. This TikToker touts lazy girl job. Okay, I'll read the article. It's a 3-minute read. We can handle it. This is okay. So the article says, in life, there's no free lunch, but there might be an easy meal for those who have the right skills. I know that there's a human being who supposedly wrote this, but already this sounds like this was written by an AI. TikToker Gabrielle Judge claims there are plenty of relatively easy jobs up for grabs that pay a good salary. I'm a big fan of lazy girl jobs, she said in a video that went viral. Her approach to employment appears to reflect so-called soft life. The soft life is emblematic of the quiet quitting movement and has gripped the nation's younger. The soft life? We live a soft life, guys. We live a soft life. We live a dry life. We stay super soft. Chris Maverick's here. Oh yeah, Chris, you missed my story from earlier about when I was much younger. I did battle rapping and I got eviscerated by a guy that said I looked like Shaggy from Scooby Doo, and it's haunted me ever since. Mike Dodge says, so Michael Dodge, quoting Mike Judge, says, Mike Judge wrote it best. It's not that I'm lazy, it's just that I don't care. There's a reason we have an image from Office Space on the stream today on the thumbnail, because I still think that there is no film or piece of art that has better captured the mood of work under late capitalism in America than Office Space. And that movie came out over 20 years ago. And I probably told you guys a story before. That movie both saved and ruined my life. You're going to think I'm exaggerating here. That was the first movie that started radicalizing me. I watched it with my best friend, Philip Navarro, who's still my best friend. And we watched it the day before we started high school. It was like, summer between 8th grade and high school. We watched Office Space and we were both just like, oh yeah, we too just want to do nothing. We think work and structures are stupid. If we had $1 million, we would do 2 chicks at the same time. We don't like pieces of flair. And it really affected things because you watch a movie like Office Space and very quickly you're like, "Oh, all this is stupid." Like you kind of see through the matrix a bit. So, a dog formerly known as a cat said, almost every day I get the pessimistic thought that every single person most of us will ever encounter are doing jobs that serve the rich. It sucks. Yeah. PC load letter. What the fuck does that mean? Why should I have to change my name when he's the one who sucks ass? Okay. Learn more about the soft light. I could just quote Office Space for days. Maybe that if we could figure this out, that'd be a fun patron exclusive, like a live stream where we watch Office Space and do live commentary.
Yeah.
Actually, at one point, I had a meeting with someone who's based in Austin, from the Alamo Draft House, about starting an event in LA where we did a Wisecrack thing where we like watched a movie and talked about it. And the thing I pitched was Office Space, where we do a live event. We'd watch Office Space and it'd be like me, maybe like a labor economist and someone else. And we would just talk about it. Fucking A, man. Fucking A.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm going to say one more Office Space quote and I'll stop. When he says, has anyone in your work ever said, looks like you have the case of the Mondays? And he says, no, man. Hell no, man. Get your ass kicked for saying that where I work. Okay. Lazy girl job. Judge defines a lazy girl job as a flexible remote position that's non-technical, high paying, and doesn't require extreme effort or difficult performance goals. She used examples of job titles like customer success manager and marketing associate. Those are job titles that people at this company have, and I've always thought, what do they do? Let me know, Chris, if that happens. I would totally fly you in for that. Let us know in the comments if you have or have had a lazy girl job. I had a lazy girl job once. Now that I'm thinking about it this way, my lazy girl job, I was senior staff writer for a startup making educational video courses. I might have told you guys the story. That was the job where my second week, when I truly had nothing to do, it was the week that the Captain Marvel came out. And at 2 p.m., I stood up from my desk without saying anything to anyone. I walked out the door. I walked across the street to the ArcLight Cinema in Hollywood. I bought a ticket for Captain Marvel, popcorn and a soda. I watched the movie. I walked back into the office, pretty sure that someone was going to be like, where the fuck have you been? I walked back. I sat down on my computer. I looked at it for 5 minutes. I closed my laptop and I went home and nothing happened and there was no consequence. Amazing stuff, guys. So she says there's a lot of jobs out there where you can make like 60 to 80K, pretty comfortable salaries while not doing that much work remote. Wow. Flexibility is another key part of the lazy job role, Judge says. Do you think she's related to Mike Judge and that's why she's so smart about this? Is this Mike Judge's daughter? That would be the sickest thing ever. And it'd really come full circle. Jobs that don't have a fixed start or end time are great for remote workers who need flexibility, particularly single women and parents. I worked for a job that never told me to start at 9 a.m. Many of the video's commenters appeared to be on her side. But then there's a paragraph that starts, not so easy. However, not everyone thought lazy girl jobs were as easy as described. They're physically easy, but mentally draining, one commenter wrote. Another said they'd rather do jobs that involve lifting heavy stuff than do any of the jobs that Judge described in her video. Okay. That's fair. That's fair. I'm going to read the section, the future. Lazy girl jobs. Every time I say it, I want to laugh. Lazy girl jobs may not be as lucrative or as easy in the future. Some of these roles could be susceptible to automation. Okay, that's fair. And Judge claims to be using ChatGPT to streamline searches for lazy girl jobs. The disruption may have already started. Okay, there we go, guys. Gabriel Judge. Mitch Connor's a software engineer that went to college for and makes $75,000 annually. Mitch, would you say it's a lazy girl job? You know, Amelia or Scout, if you said, how did you leave, get fired for my lazy girl job? And you could be talking to someone else. So I'm sorry if I make this about me. I don't want to center my, but that lazy girl job I had, I lost when the company basically shut down and laid everyone off because we were making a bullshit product that no one wanted to buy. However, the last 6 weeks I was at that job, we all knew it was falling apart and there wasn't work for anyone to do. So a crew of us there who all like, we're kind of like the lefties, to be honest, in the office. We hung out in the beanbag room every day because we had a beanbag room in this office where we would drink kombucha and snacks provided by the company and order our lunches with our $15 a meal lunch budget and apply to other jobs on our computers in the beanbag room while we drank drinks and ate snacks. Then the last few weeks we were at that job, we started day drinking. So we would leave work for lunch and we would go get margaritas and then we would charge them to our company account and just to see what would happen. And they all went through. So it was pretty crazy. And when I finally did get fired or laid off, it was a day I was working from home. And, a thing popped up on my Google Calendar that said like chat with Michael. And I was like, oh, here we go. And I opened up, Google Meets and it was this like senior producer and then the CEO. And literally before they could talk, I was just like, hey guys, I know what's about to happen. Let's not make it weird. and, there you go. Camera E says, saw the title of this live stream. Screamed, yes, because that's what the world is about, man. Okay. There you go. Let's see. Okay. But yeah, does anyone else have have you ever had a lazy girl job, Henry?
The closest I can think of is there was a company I got contracted to edit for, and like they would send me a lot of emails with technical questions about footage and what they would need, but like they never sent me anything I actually needed to edit, so I just billed them for the emails and they paid.
I'll take it. A dog formerly known as a cat used to work at McDonald's to make extra income. I used the drive-thru to sell weed. I'd also steal nuggets at every opportunity. Wow. That's great. That's great stuff. Let's see. Sorry, just looking at the chat. But yeah, so I mean, and I guess we can wrap up this conversation, but to get back to our friend Brielle, leader Brielle, Subcomandante Brielle, who will march us through the gates of the revolution together. I don't think it's a Gen Z is lazy. I don't think it's that they don't care as much. Ooh, episode Livy watched 4 Scream movies in the past 2 days at work. That rips. You have a lazy girl job. But I think the Gen Z has more of like I think Gen Z has a higher level of consciousness of their subject position as workers and a bigger, a more advanced consciousness of the alienating forces of contemporary labor than previous generations did. I think that Gen Z does not take for granted some of the things that previous generations like my own took for granted. And, when we think about, and I think in this way they are more philosophical, and let me, try to convince you of why I think that's the case. Philosophical thinking primarily involves a suspension of one's assumptions about how the world works and why it works the way it works, and a childlike curiosity towards things that you already think you understand. You know, when we think about that famous adage, like philosophy begins in wonder. Well, what is wonder? Like if I say, I wonder what's going to happen later, I don't know. I'm approaching it with an open mind and a sense of curiosity. So for philosophy to begin in a sense of wonder means I'm approaching the question or the problem not with presuppositions or assumptions, but I'm open to seeing things with a new set of eyes. And I think that Gen Z, or at least some of the, at least people like, Commander Brielle, our leader, have been able to approach the world with a sort of childlike wonder that allows them to kind of see what's really going on, rather than those of us who I think grew up being less philosophical and almost more theological. And I'll tell you what I mean by that. More theological, in that we thought this is just how the world works. The way that in theological thinking, where we often think God just made the world this way, so we exist in the world that's already been created for us. I think that a lot of people, millennials and Gen Xers, came into a world and thought and this goes back to Henry's board game analogy. This is the structure of the world that I live in. I will play by the structures. But we didn't like look under the board. We didn't go get the box that the game came in to look at the instructions and realize that they don't make sense. And I do think that's kind of what we see in some of the Gen Zers here. But again, what I want for you all is lazy girl jobs. I want lazy girl jobs for everyone. At the lunch we're going to have today at this office with the CEO, I'm going to say, yeah, I have a question. Can we have more lazy girl jobs at this company? I'm not going to say that. So, someone said that is bullshit. To me, D, if you think what I just said is bullshit, let me know why. I'm always curious to hear. And here's the thing, guys. I'll say it. I try to be philosophically open-minded. So if I'm spitting bullshit, you can tell me that I'm spitting bullshit. You just gotta tell me why I'm spitting bullshit. I feel like that's fair. Let me know if you think that's fair, Because a lot of bullshit's come out of this mouth in my life. Any final thoughts on your end about the great job discussion of November 2023, Henry?
I think like a lot of people just haven't had the kind of like prosperous free time life that the 9 to 5 used to deliver in a time of greater economic bounty. So there's like less of a reason to like have faith in it, even if you don't understand in a complex economic way what is wrong with it.
Yeah. And again, I think that chief of the workers committee, Brielle and Henry and myself, and what a lot of us are saying, thanks, Maeve. I like the idea of stand-up philosopher as a job, because honestly, Maeve, I never know to tell anyone what I do. And stand-up philosopher is great. I really like that. So thank you for giving me a job title, Maeve, because the company didn't give me one, but Maeve did. Maeve's a great name. Maeve, we almost named my daughter Maeve, but then we didn't because my cousin named her daughter Maeve, and we were just like, we probably shouldn't have multiple Maeves. But there you go. But what I was about to say, again, to wrap it all up, to reference our friends like Henry, our friends like, Leader Brielle, we just want everyone to have a good life. And by that, I mean, I think what we all agree, and I think what some of you in the chat probably agree, is that no matter what we might think in terms of specific political, social, economic ideologies, we think that a human being who works a job should have the time and resources to also live their life. And I think we probably all agree that we primarily want you in particular, to be a human first and a worker or whatever else second. So, I think that's what we agree on here. But again, the real important thing is make some Brielle graphics, send them to Wisecrack Live 666. They'll say I'm a philosophy e-girl. I love it. I have a philosophy e-girl job. So make your Brielle as communist, as early 20th century communist leader images, send them to wisecracklive666@gmail.com, and we will look at them on the next stream. Okay, so there you go. Wisecrack Live 666 Brielle graphics. Awesome. Okay, so this is Wisecrack Live. We're checking in at the, over the halfway point. I'm Michael Burns. I'm here with producer Henry. We're here with the greatest chat on YouTube. If you want to be a more immersed part of this chat, consider becoming a member or consider buying a membership to the channel someone else. It's very fun. Oh yeah, Dr. Clownicus brings up Queen Maeve from The Boys. Awesome. Speaking of The Boys, this isn't really speaking of The Boys, but my brain thought about this because I was thinking of shows on Amazon. Invincible is coming back this week. Did you know that, Henry?
Yeah.
I totally was unaware, guys. I'm my dad brain, whatever. So I'm so excited.
I had for a while was
More
wondering
Invincible.
when it was coming back because it seemed like it'd been out for a while as far as like I know they did some spin-off stuff, but still
Yeah.
it seems like a huge time gap.
I cannot wait. But hey, here we go. So again, this is Wisecrack Live. Consider being a patron, consider being a member of the channel. It helps us out a lot. We're trying to stay alive, guys. We're just trying to stay alive. That's all we're trying to do. I kind of wanted to check out this video from, I know you're thinking, wow, we're watching YouTube videos. We haven't done this in forever. But there's a video over on the Game Theory channel. I'll get it loaded
I've
and
done it.
pause.
I've created the ultimate. I watched every YouTube video.
That's called Why YouTube Feels Boring. And I'm curious to see what the argument is here because I have thoughts about this. Beatmaster says animation takes a lot of time. Yeah, I'm hoping that's why Invincible took a lot of time because hopefully they animated it well and they paid animators well.
Yeah.
Oh, also, for those who like animation, if you have HBO Max, Adult Swim on their like Max sub-channel thing recently put up a series of shorts that includes our friend Sean Godsey's Thoron the Conqueror, and it would be really great for him professionally if you all watched it on Max. So please do that. Okay, let's check out some of this video from MatPat on why YouTube feels boring. I think it came out yesterday, so hopefully not too many of you have watched it. But I'm obviously curious about why YouTube got boring. Hey, Dad's Bogus, glad to see you here. And I want to make YouTube less boring.
I've
Let's
created
see.
the ultimate online video. I watched every YouTube video, but because I thought that Mr. Beast would do that very thing, I decided to do him one better. I watched every YouTube video and counted every pixel on every frame of every video. And guess what? I still thought that Jimmy might do that, so I decided to do him one better. I did it all in 24 hours, and I'll give away $100,000 to every viewer of that video. I've done it. I've done it. It's unbreakable. It's unbeatable. No one can ever outdo me. I've outbeasted the beast.
Wait, MatPat said the N-word? Guys, I just want you to know that I just said, yelled kind of loud, MatPat said the N-word. Very important person in this company walked by the door and looked directly in here as I yelled that. Wait, I didn't know that. That's bad.
Hello, Internet! Welcome to Game Theory, the superlative channel for overthinking all your favorite things on the internet. Today on MatPat Talks About Topics I'm Thinking About Instead of a Game Theory, we're gonna be talking about phases. We all go through phases, right? We wear different stuff, we watch different things, and on YouTube, we make different content. For the last 3 years, YouTube has been going through what I'm calling the era of excess. And I probably don't have to explain to you exactly what I mean by that. You pretty much know it when you see it. The title has the word every in it every time. I tried every food from every state. I tried every impossible sport. Mythical has a format called We Tried Every, where they try every flavor of a thing. The Try Guys.
I mean, I'll say this, like, we're not successful at Wisecrack on the level that a lot of these channels are. But I kind of feel glad that we haven't had to do this sort of thing yet. I feel glad about that. What's up, Derek Johnson?
Keith Eats the Menu, where he tries every item on a restaurant menu. Eric tries every drive-thru. Eddie Burr.
I want the guy from Try Guys to try every drug, and they just sit him in a room and he has to do all the drugs. That's not good. That's bad that I want that.
Back goes to every Margaritaville. Matthew Beam goes to every Disneyland where Alpha Rad rides every ride. Drew Binsky visited all 197 countries.
Michael from Wisecrack experiences every type of existential despair in one afternoon on his couch while watching reruns of How I Met Your Mother.
Countries, while Markiplier just tries every flavor of Taki. I mean, he actually just licked every flavor of Takis. It's a bit disturbing there, Mark. Even more disturbing than your trailer for Iron Lung. Anyway, you see where I'm going with this. It's every trend that you see everywhere on the platform. Not to be overlooked, though, this phase also includes what I call the nice round number syndrome, which contains a big old number with a dollar sign in front, and the numbers just keep getting bigger. While Mr. Beast has certainly been the one mainstreaming this recently, nice round numbers, they've been making title.
I just love Mr. Beast so much. When I think about the world we live in, I thank God there's Mr. Beast in this world, because I think it's indicative of things going in a really good direction. You know, I wish we were all Mr.
And
Beast.
thumbnails more clickable since 2012, when top 10s and top 5 lists dominated the entire YouTube ecosystem. And once you know it, but clickable numbers become even more clickable once.
I mean, these are like, so you guys know this too. All of the stuff they're talking about here is the stuff that we have to worry about when we're coming up with like thumbnails and marketing videos, because we just want to make a video on something we think is interesting, that we think you are interesting. But there's this pressure to have titles and thumbnails that are like, why you're wrong about this. Why you dumb fucks don't understand this. Why you pre-cum baby idiots need to read a book about this. Well, everything you thought about this is actually this. And I'm just like, no, I don't want to do that. I want to talk to you like you're adults and be like, hey, here's an interesting idea. But I get it that we're all caught up in an attention economy where we're scrolling through things constantly and things catch our attention because they're designed by people that used to work for casino companies. But it's tough, and it's stuff we got to think about.
They're associated with money, leading to all your favorite giveaway and comparison
Dead Card fell asleep watching this video last night, so it must be good.
videos. The numbers evolved from top 10s to top 100s to $100. And then we started adding zeros from there. Many, many zeros.
I did one giveaway once where when I was on my parental leave, I wasn't pregnant, but on the Wisecrack Twitter, I was asking like what sort of music people are into, because I wanted to maybe make more videos about music. And someone responded and said, I see what you're doing here. I'm not doing the unpaid labor of giving you market data for free. And then I said, cool, I'll Venmo you $5 if you tell me. And they sent me their Venmo username. I think I had 3 beers that night. And after I had 3 beers, I Venmoed $5 to a stranger. And then they kept their end of the bargain. And then they responded to the Wisecrack Twitter and told me what music they liked. But I had to pay them $5. So there you go. John Lavelle was a broken condom baby. Hey, there you go. Why not? Why not? You know, I think God works in mysterious ways.
Now, $1 steak versus $1,000 steak. $1 versus $100,000 computers. $1 houses versus $100 million.
I want to let you know I had a thought that was so dark that I'm not going to say it. And it's very rare that I have a thought that's a play on one of these titles that I won't say. But hey, if you're a patron, ask me on Discord later.
Houses. And of course, the all-time classic, I gave a random person on the street $100,000 for the clout. I mean, obviously there's some vague reason, but we all know what the underpinning of it is, right? It's the clout. We've seen.
Could you imagine working for a company where you felt like you weren't getting adequately paid, and then they were like giving out $100,000? Like you haven't gotten a raise, and you come in for a shoot that week, and they're like, hey, did you get the briefcase with $200,000? You're going to give that to some guy. And you're just like, I just want $6,000 more dollars a year in a 401k. And they're like, sorry.
$10,000 ice cream, the world's biggest pizza, and we've watched Casey Neistat recline his way through every expensive.
I don't understand this guy, the Casey Neistat guy. Michael Dodge was saying before that he only learned about Mr. Beast recently. This guy is a guy who I refuse to learn anything about. I absolutely refuse to know anything about this individual.
Emirati flight on the planet. It's great. Clearly, we all love it and watch it. Otherwise, the algorithm wouldn't serve it up to you on a silver platter. But I'm here to tell you that there's a hidden cost to these videos, and no amount of dollar signs and zeros is ever gonna do it justice. The interesting thing about excess videos is that they're not just about the superlative of something or trying something nicer than average. They're a constant, unwinnable game of escalation. We already ate the biggest burger at one restaurant, so, then we had to escalate. We had to eat the biggest burger at every restaurant. But once you do that, where else do you go? Well, then you have to eat at every restaurant that ever serves a burger. You get the idea. I'm sure if I asked you why we like this sort of content so much, there are some easy answers that come to mind. It's satisfying. You get to see things that are too expensive to buy for you.
What's the dumbest thing that you guys like on YouTube? I'll answer as well. Henry can answer too. But I'm curious because I know you're all smart. I mean, you guys are here just Oh my God, urinator. $1 versus $1 million assisted suicide. Slow clap for that one. That was really good. It wasn't as dark as the one I was gonna say, but that's really good. But I'm glad you said it. I'm glad you said it. I'm really glad that that's good. That's really good. But yeah, what's the dumbest thing you guys watch? I would say I love Hot Ones, which I don't think is that dumb actually, because I think
Yeah,
John's like a really good host.
I
And
was kind of scratching
yeah,
my brain at that one.
yeah. So I'm gonna say Hot Ones. That's not even dumb. Show. I would say the dumbest stuff I probably watch is specific YouTube channels where like guitar YouTubers talk about obscure pedals and stuff. But again, it's not really dumb. They're interesting. It's just like nerdy niche stuff. But yes, someone extraneous watches toe removal videos and cyst pops. Kate Emmon says the dumbest thing they watch is Wisecrack. I asked for that. Meme video game reviews, Red Letter Media. Favorite dumbest thing is Wisecrack. I set myself up for this, so I'll take it. Reaction videos, lockpicking lawyer. Michael, of course I'd go on Hot Ones. JHS, Eddie gets it. Eddie, I love the JHS. Eddie, there's things about the JHS show and YouTube channel that I want to use I want to steal from them for this channel. Eddie, that's what I want to do. If anyone else here messes with the JHS channel, let's go. Doctors talking about medical stuff, plastic surgery, pet groomers. Okay. And here's the thing too. I think it's cool to watch dumb stuff. Oh, I watch animal videos sometimes. So that can be kind of dumb, I guess. So yeah, we all watch dumb stuff. We all do this. I'm glad that multiple people here know about the JHS channel. That's all.
For yourself. Maybe it's funny to see people try crazy stuff. All of that is very true.
Josh Scott, if you watch the stream, let me know. Let's collab. Wisecrack and JHS.
But there's also a lot more boiling under the surface of our excess addiction on YouTube. Understanding the psychology of why you're watching these videos might make you think twice about when to click on them and when to keep scrolling. Today we're talking.
I'm gonna pause because I want to hear people's thoughts on the Michael Dodge. Anyone watching Channel 5 recently, I'm on the fence about getting back. Another person messes with JHS. I've not watched the new Channel 5 videos. I'm someone who before it came out that Andrew Callahan was abusive towards some women. Yes, Beatmaster. I literally at one point said, I'm not going to take this back now. I said I thought Channel 5 was the best thing on YouTube at one point. So it's been I just haven't been sure of what to do, because also don't clip this one for the shorts thing. But
Noted.
I'm someone who doesn't want it to be the case that someone who does some bad shit and takes accountability to some extent doesn't get to exist anymore. And I don't know what the line is, guys. I'm still trying to figure it out. But like, for example, I don't like that someone like a Louis C.K. can do what he did and then just make jokes about it and not take accountability or responsibility. But I guess I just don't want to say that, a 25-year-old dude that acted kind of like a piece of shit should not get to like work anymore. I don't know. And again, you all might have great arguments against what I'm saying, and you're probably right and I'm probably wrong. But I'll just say that's why I've been conflicted on whether I watch those or not. Henry, do you have any intent, or have you watched the new Channel 5 videos?
I haven't watched any of the new stuff. I lightly had him mixed into my news feed when he was current. I wasn't the hugest like Channel 5 head, so I haven't felt the urge to go back, but I am kind of curious what the content is and kind of what you're talking about as well, because it's like he wasn't like working for like a cable news network and then got rehired somewhere else, and like it is like, I don't know, it's a different type of like interaction with the economy and like the production of stuff than like older, more traditional models of employment go, as far as like, does he deserve an audience again?
Yeah.
Well,
and I guess too, like, I just, with this stuff, I always think about the Dan Harmon example of just someone who was abusive and manipulative to, Megan Gans, his employee on Community. He was called out. He publicly took responsibility and accountability and it seemed to move forward doing a better job. So there you go. Yeah. So Max Fortuno said, this is like your video about artists and their work. Yeah. So I do think it's complicated, but I think it's too easy to just make it black or white. But there you go. Let's watch a little more of this Matt Pat video.
Talking
'Cause I
about
want to
where
see if
this
he
arrow
I want to see if
of
he
excess
gives
comes
us a
from, where it's
solution.
going, and why you should know for your own mental health. It's probably no surprise to you that watching
Also, do you think that I know that I did the pause thing again, and those of you who have been around since the early days know that some people don't watch the stream because of the pausing. Thanks for being here, like the stream, but do we watch and like the dumb hyperbolic stuff because it's a smokescreen from the vapidity of culture and the economy? Like, is watching a video where some fucking jamoke eats 100 tacos just a way to really avoid grappling with reality? Henry, go ahead.
The way because like I do watch food reviews and I'm kind of interested in like the people who do like fast food reviews and like there's some. It's hard for me to parse it as stupid content because it's more about like how you take it in and what you do with it. Like I'll watch people reviewing elevators just because I start wondering like what kind of person is driven to make a channel where they like drive around to different buildings and review elevators. A lot of what you're talking about, like the stupid stuff to me, like especially like when it comes to like fast food or something with like a huge corporate sponsor, is like I take that and interpret it as like just PR, like kind of like this is the face like they want me to like internalize or like normalize as far as like what this company's doing or what the purpose of this thing is, or this is the context they're trying to provide to like justify their existence in one way or another. So like when I'm trying to think of something like just straight up stupid that I would watch.
But I think you make a really good point that a lot of the stupid stuff that we watch, even when we're not aware of it, is just like branded content as well. And like a part of my job, right, is if not every week, most weeks, stuff comes in where it's like, hey, this brand wants videos, wants TikToks, whatever. And I would say 99% of the time, the ideas we pitch do not get made because it's always just throwing shit at the wall. But I do know that a lot of the stuff that we see, it is just like brands paying to get their product thrown in our faces more and more and more.
Yeah, I remember Damn Drops, really liking him as a YouTuber, and I still do. And it's just interesting to see throughout his career. Like I remember when he started doing like partnerships with like Taco Bell, and Taco Bell would take him down to the Taco Bell kitchen and show like the secret upcoming creations, and just the way that kind of got levied into like he got a Netflix show and stuff, and like. I'm not trying to comment on I'm not trying to say anything bad about Damn Drops and saying that, but like you just kind of have to recognize that like that's what the pipeline is and that's the purpose it's serving.
Yeah. Jello Shots, late in the game, Lord of the Chat with 10 memberships. There you go. Let's watch a little more of this video.
Content on the internet, any content, even this sort of content, is doing all sorts of things to your brain. In a nutshell, consuming content online when you're scrolling on YouTube Shorts, TikTok, or Instagram activates neuronal pathways in your brain that are commonly known as reward pathways. You scroll and ooh, a new thing to see. Scroll again and ooh, another new thing to see. Forever and ever, endlessly to the end of time.
For any of you who've been here for a long time, just paying attention to this, I think it means you have strong brains because you're not just scrolling around.
And each time your brain gets a little happy response to seeing something novel, something funny, something beautiful or interesting. All the things that we try to make our content look like online. These happy feelings come from your brain's dopamine reward pathway, and they're the same ones that get activated when someone hands you an ice cream sundae, or the feeling that you get when you beat a level in a video game. Years ago, we actually did a video on this channel all about the addictive qualities of games like Candy Crush, which is just as relevant today for social media as it was back then for mobile gaming addiction. In case you haven't seen it, I'm gonna summarize it quickly. When it comes to consuming content, unfortunately, we're going in with the deck stacked against us, starting with the literal brain inside our own heads. Biologically, our brains have been wired from the beginning to find rewarding experiences.
I mean, it's just hard too then, because if you're making stuff, if you're making any sort of content or media or art, it's just that question of like, do you want to be the person that makes the music that's like designed in a lab to hit all the pop structure things that can be sold as background music for some Netflix show, or that can be, a pop hit on TikTok? Or do you want to be Johnny Greenwood and Tom York being like, let's make a Radiohead album that has no every beat is in like 7/8 time or something, you know? It's hard. It's like, and obviously you can be Radiohead when you've established a career and you have money to do the weird thing. But these days, if you're starting out making any sort of art, and again, shout out to Sofia Coppola, if you're not a Nepo kid, like what do? You know?
Experiences in life. Double down on those rewards because a few thousand ancestors ago, that was what was able to keep us alive. Now, that reward-seeking behavior we all have baked into our neurons gets translated to a key weakness that can be exploited by everyone from game developers to marketing companies, and especially by social video platforms. Watching funny TikToks, satisfying aesthetic videos on Instagram, and clever YouTube shorts, they're all microdosing dopamine into your brain all day long until you're suddenly feeling compelled to keep scrolling just to try and
It's crazy that we're all depressed. Crazy. Who would have guessed?
feel okay. There's been a lot of research done in this area, and even if literally none of us are following the advice of limit your screen time, we at least know, yeah, we probably should be doing that. But no, really, yeah, we probably
I'm so afraid that someone in this office right now is watching this stream, and I'm just gonna let you guys know that I want to express my anxiety.
should be doing that. The TLDR of all this is that the For You page is giving your brain exactly what it wants, which isn't always a good thing. The thing is, friendos, well, it's easy for all of us to collectively point to short-form video as
Another thing I want to bring up here, and I'm curious if you guys have an analog for this, Henry as well. I talked about like JHS before and watching guitar-based YouTube channels. I had this thought the other day where I was like, I think today I've spent 2 hours watching videos about guitar stuff, whether it's about music theory or gear or whatever. And then I was like, and I've spent 0 minutes with a guitar in my hand creating music, right? So it's this idea of like how often it's that sick cycle where it's like I'm going to spend this much time consuming content about the thing while completely avoiding the thing. And I feel like it's again that analogy for how it's like the simulacrum, the PR version, the marketing version, the media, the thing that immediately hits my dopamine receptors is what I do. The thing that would be much more rewarding, I don't do. If anyone has like a, that pedal show I love. I was watching that pedal show the other day, a long interview with Ed O'Brien from Radiohead. But I don't know. If anyone has that analogy, let us know.
was the thing that's geeked on all these platforms, the things that are shamelessly riding those dopamine waves. They're not the only ones that are giving us that little boost to happy.
Yeah, Peter spends a lot of time watching a dude clean rugs. He has no interest in cleaning rugs.
The era of access on YouTube has given us the exact same action on these same reward pathways, even with long-form videos. It's doing this.
Mellow gel, it's also an ADHD thing for sure. I almost feel like ADHD makes your brain already conducive to like late capitalism brain.
In two main ways. First, the structure of the video usually sets you up for lots of little micro doses of dopamine rewards all the way throughout the video, starting with the opening seconds. Let's just take a classic example from Good Mythical Morning. I tried every flavor of Lay's chips, where they have the setup of these videos down to a science. Probably why it's a whole series over on GMM. They start right off the bat by teasing what's in the video. This hooks you in the first few seconds in the exact same way that a TikTok does.
27 flavors of Lay's, but only one can be the best.
So much hair between these two. Like, look at all that hair. God damn that hair. Just to have a little bit of that. Yeah, Eddie, gear acquisition syndrome is real. Eddie, I fell into that the other day. I'm just gonna be honest. I haven't told my wife this yet. I spent a good amount of money that I don't have to put a down payment on a custom guitar I'm getting made from a guy in England because it's going to take him like a year to make it. So I was just like, I have a year to come up with the rest of the money. And then I have a year, 9 months to a year to prepare my wife for the day that a big box shows up at the house from England with a guitar in it that she's not an idiot. She's going to know is not cheap. So you guys can help me. We have a year to help me work on this plan.
Let's talk about that.
This is the exact same tactic that Mr. Beast uses in every one of his $1 versus $1 million videos. Or, I guess now it's $100 million videos.
This is a $100 million mega mansion.
I'm not going to say the thing I was about to say, guys. If you want to guess what I was about to say in response to Mr. Beast walking out of the $100 million mega mansion, I'll tell you if you were right. But yeah, don't forget to like the stream. But yeah, let's have a contest. Guess what you think I wanted to say when that happened. Eddie said, yeah, my wife never watches any of this stuff, and I don't begrudge her. Today she's home alone taking care of her baby. Good for her.
This isn't me out any creators or point fingers. It's just a tactic used by
All these guys saying like, "Oh, be honest with her." Some of you have never been married with gear addiction.
everyone who's successful on the platform right now. Josh Weissman,
Today we're going to be ranking and tasting every major fast food burger in America.
Airrack,
You're looking at a collection of all the fastest man-made vehicles in history.
I want to do a video series where I just like slowly crash every type of car into a wall while listening to like early 2000s emo music and crying.
Hope Scope,
I bought every Barbie dream house ever.
Mr. Who is the Boss.
I have just bought every single Xbox console ever.
Basically, every major creator on the platform is zeroed in on this strategy as a psychological tactic
I pooped in every mailbox on my street.
to get your attention on YouTube. But that's not enough. After those catchy opening seconds,
The Iron Man thing is kind of in the wheelhouse of what I was going to say. It wasn't about Iron Man, but it kind of think about what happens to Iron Man's house in, I think, 3.
you break the video up into manageable chunks that are, I don't know, somewhere around 60 to 90 seconds each, about the exact same as a TikTok, so people feel like they're getting a new reward for every minute that they stay tuned
This is why our videos don't do well, because we don't think about any of this stuff.
into the video. Take a look at that same GMM video to see what I mean. 45 seconds to 1 minute and 15 seconds goes by, they switch
Don't bring up Strymon, Beatmaster. You're going to get me killed.
to a new flavor of chip, giving you just long enough for a satisfying crunch, some color commentary, a couple of jokes, bam! On to the next before you got bored. In Hope Scope's tour through the history of Barbie dream houses, a video that I personally loved by the way, she switches between dream houses less than every 2 minutes. Airrack is way more intense when ranking all the fast food restaurants, going through them at a pace of 10 to 30 seconds each. Mr. Beast's favorite way to do this is by completely switching up challenges
Yeah, someone brought up, I watched every Wisecrack video, and now I'm just sad.
every 3 minutes or so. His classic I gave away an island to my 100 millionth subscriber video switches challenges every 1 minute and 30 seconds to 2 minutes and 45 seconds. While in his somewhat controversial curing people's blindness video, the longest any individual patient gets in front of the camera is 50 seconds. I could go on and on and on with hundreds of examples of these videos across the platform, each with tens, sometimes hundreds of
My biggest life regret is not recording the 2 interviews I had with the Mr. Beast company to then share them with you. I'm sure that would be illegal, but I wish I would have done it because there was the 2 most insane calls I've had in my life. And I wish I could have shared them with you guys.
hundreds of millions of views, but it all boils down to this one thing. YouTube videos, my friends, have become
Beatmaster,
high-polished
stop it.
compilations. Kind of like TikTok compilations or Vine compilations before them, whether or not you or even the people making them realize it. And it works. It works real well. But wait a minute, I hear
Everyone in the office started moving. What do they know that I don't?
you saying? Telling me I'm throwing all my fellow creators under the bus? How could I do that to all my friends? I'm just a YouTube turncoat. And hey, wait a minute. Didn't this video start out using these exact same tactics? Well, let me be clear. Creators, including little old theorists over here, work to make the best content possible for viewers and fans based on the rules of the platform they're working on. You would never see a TikTok start with long, slow classical music and a black screen, right? Why? Well, because the platform
Chris Maverick gets it. This is a, guy who's been married. He gets it. Some of you who are just like, be honest. I'll be honest about other stuff, but not that.
doesn't serve that sort of content. People don't respond to slow TikToks with no visuals. That would be insane. By the same
Wait, so Peter said, are we catering to ADHD brains or are we causing ADHD brains with content? Very good neurological chicken or the egg question. I kind of think both, right? Like, because obviously we know that people, traditionally or whatever, we know that the cause for ADHD is an underdeveloped prefrontal cortex. I don't think, and if there's any neuroscientists that know this, please let me know. Watching TikToks can't underdevelop your prefrontal cortex. However, I think that watching TikTok obsessively can rewire our like dopamine centers and brain chemical shit to basically make us function like, shout out to the Smashing Pumpkins, like a rat in the cage who just wants to get its little treat off. So, I think there's something like that. Urinator, that's a great idea. That's a really good idea. I could be like, oh, this guy who builds guitars watches Wisecrack, and he just wanted to like, this is crazy. That's really good. I might do that. But I do think like it makes me think of what's the name of and guys, I've talked about this book before, and now I have a blank in my mind where it should be the Byung-Chul Han book that's on like distraction and burnout. The Burnout Society, I think. I know I've talked about it before. That kind of gets into it. The idea that the flow of information in our society is breaking our brains in that way. So, yeah. And like Peter Jang says, even if you don't have ADHD, your content is playing the ADHD meta. Yeah. There you go. Also, another marriage advice thing, just ripping off what Chris Maverick says. Sometimes in marriage, it's like there's questions that you don't ask. So sometimes if a box shows up for me and it's clearly music gear, my wife just kind of like says nothing. Like she'll almost act like it's not there. I feel like I'm doing like Ray Romano. My wife does this thing. I don't get it. But my wife will like ignore the big box that's clearly music gear. Won't say anything. But let's say a month later, oh, we should do this trip. We should do this thing. And then if I'm like, we don't have money for that, then she's like, got it right there. Well, you had money for that guitar pedal. How much was that, by the way? She's good, guys. She's good. And I think that's the smarter way to be. You got to file this stuff away. This was my Everybody Loves Raymond pitch.
Same token, YouTube creators have to live within the extremely rigid boundaries of the platform and the content that's getting recommended here. Yeah, big creators have videos that work very well, and also, it's not really their fault. Creators aren't implementing TikTok tactics like this because they're trying to trick you, they're doing it because this content is what YouTube systems have told them is working. And in case it's still a secret, friends, YouTube has one goal and one goal only here in 2023, to
spreading knowledge and helping us think more critically about the society around us by interrogating economic, cultural, and social structures, I think is what the answer is going to be.
Look and feel a lot like TikTok. It's no coincidence that the excess phase of YouTube has happened at the same time as the rise of TikTok and the same time as YouTube launching its own TikTok killer as Shorts. A lot of large creators understand that they're not competing with each other, they're competing with the product that YouTube really needs to win, Shorts. So at this point, this is the real picture of what making content on YouTube looks like. Creators have to make videos that are as exciting as a TikTok, but long enough to feed YouTube's recommendation system lots and lots of tasty watch minutes. And in case you're not aware of what's going on behind the curtain, this
is depressing me.
These episodes take weeks or even months to create, often costing tens, if not even hundreds of thousands of dollars to produce, all while still needing to be brand safe. Young skewing, but not too young skewing. New and original while still feeling familiar enough for you to click on, and they might just make it onto someone's homepage. Then again, YouTube might just give that space to Shorts instead.
Never fall down, never fail, never show fear, never get out of line. It's too hard. It's too contradictory.
So what's left after all that? Well, a lot of escalation. How do you get people's attention on YouTube now? Do something bigger, more expensive, more flashy, more dangerous, for as long as you possibly can and in as many short, discrete chunks as you can. At the end of the day, this isn't about the creators that you're watching, it's about the
We paid a trained assassin to hunt Michael. Will we have 2 videos this week? Tune in and find out.
Platform that you're watching those creators on. But there's more to this fun little escalation circus, with more complicated and over-the-top.
We're gonna wrap soon, but like the stream if you haven't already.
Production comes
algorithm, data.
The need for more help, a lot more help. While videos on the platform are becoming more pigeonholed into this escalation and excess genre, they also need a lot more manpower to pull them off. Rhett and Link employ nearly 100 full-time employees. Smosh is over 30. Mr. Beast is at least 100, and individual creators who look like they film alone now have full-time teams of at least 10 to 15 people hunting the corners of the earth to find every impossible sport, Pop-Tarts,
4 plus some great freelancers like Henry.
Flavor and MacBook. The cost of these enormous teams lay on even more pressure for every episode to be an every episode, because it has to be a banger. Instead of stories, characters, or in-depth narrative.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna abruptly wrap it up because I see everyone in the office like walking to the thing, and there's like the CEO's here, there's like a lunch thing. I should probably go because I don't want to walk in awkwardly late, because one of the last times we had one of these things in the office, I walked in awkwardly late and then did finger guns because I got uncomfortably nervous and went, hey, I should not do that. Thank you so much for hanging out today, guys. I think we got into some. Please, yeah, spectacle. Thanks for hanging out. Like the stream if you haven't. Remember that all the streams go up as VODs under the live tab, so you can watch it later. You can leave comments there. Bing, bang, boom, content, pattern disruption, every 60 to 90 seconds, trying a new thing, 100 versus a million versus 1,000, a trillion versus the overwhelming emptiness of living in a world where all that matters is empty numbers and data, which at bottom just serve the pockets of a small subset of people while we all suffer economically, emotionally, and existentially as we try to find meaning in this world. But hey, at least we have jobs and we have each other. This has been Wisecrack Live for November 1st, 2023. For producer Henry, for the wonderful chat, for God himself, I'm Michael, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks for hanging, y'all. See you next week. Bye.